Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Dede Tonye, and you are welcome to this special edition of the African Women's Voices Show, the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. You see, as we celebrate women across the world, here in Ghana, Global Media Alliance has decided to also celebrate women, and for that reason has brought women from different fields to come and sit together and have discussions around what is happening to women and how we are contributing to national development. So I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to introduce you to the ladies who are sparkling already. So I'm going to be starting from my right. Okay, we have you. I'd like you to introduce yourself, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, hello viewers. My name is Habiba Abdallah. I am a member of the Young Urban Women's Movement, a co-chair. I'm an activist, a student, and a program lead for Move the World.
Hi, my name is Martina Odoi, a student of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. I'm the PRO for the Young Urban Women's Movement, an activist, and a volunteer for a number of organizations.
Nice.
Hello, I'm Vivian, a student at Don Bosco Technical Institute. I'm a student of REV. Well, if I say REV, which is Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineering, stroke mobile phone engineering.
Nice.
My name is Rebecca Henyo. I'm also a member of the Young Urban Women's Movement, the Deputy Regional Organizer for the Greater Accra region. And I'm a land surveyor and a passionate volunteer. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Avonyo Beatrice Mawina, a member of the Young Urban Women's Movement, a teacher, a volunteer as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so I'll be taking it right now from Emma. I've already introduced her, but she's going to say more about herself.
Thank you, Eunice. My name is Emma Wenani. I work for Global Media Alliance in the Communications Department. I head the Public Relations and Digital team.
Hello, viewers. My name is Fafa Gbeho. I'm the head of Human Resources here at Global Media Alliance.
Hello, viewers. My name is Nosisa Do. I am the Programs Manager of ETV Ghana and a women's activist.
Hello, my name is Fatih Shaibu Ali. I'm a media practitioner.
Hello, my name is Louisa Karche, a student, a women activist, and then the CEO for the Louisa Case Foundation that seeks to empower women in politics.
Wow. So now that we've introduced ourselves to you, we're going to delve into the conversation. Okay. So first of all, I'd like to understand what it is you do in your group, because you mentioned that it's a movement, and I'm sure you've been on for quite a while. I'd like to hear from you on that. So will the president be speaking or the PRO? Okay.
Okay, so the Young Urban Women's Movement is a movement of about 1,000 young women in Accra. And we also have other wings in the northern region, Upper East, and then Upper West. And we are currently in Eastern region as well. We started as a project in 2014, where we mobilized young women between the ages of 15 to 25. We started with them with capacity building on sexual and reproductive health rights, because we have 3 thematic areas, which is burden of care, bodily integrity, and economic security. These are the 3 areas that we really work with. So we build women's capacity on these areas. Now, in 2017, we realized that the project was coming to an end and we might not be having funding. So we thought of sustainability, where we realized that we have other young women out there who are not benefiting from this project. Why not involve them? Then we became a movement. And then we started involving others who are out there. The PRO will share more.
Okay. Martina, take over then.
Okay, so as my president said, we are now a movement, no more a project. So the project had demarcated the age between 18 and 25. So some people were not privileged to be a part of it because of their age. So with the movement, we extended the age to 35 so that more women can be a part. And then we try to scout for opportunities, sometimes like travel opportunities online for some people who maybe they can't actually apply themselves. So we have a lot of people who have been outside the country and back, maybe conferences or trainings or TOTs. I can mention a lot of countries. Myself, I'm a testimony. My president is too. And then when we come back, we share the experiences, we share the knowledge with the rest of the team. And anybody else who is also eligible or falls within the criteria, because every training online that you find has a criteria for whoever is eligible.
If I may come in there, what kind of training? Is it specific? Maybe agriculture, medicine, pharmaceuticals? What kind of training are we exposing the ladies to?
Okay, so it differs. So if it's training, we haven't done anything agriculture yet. Sometimes it's skills training, sometimes it's nursing, something to do with health, but mostly we've been involved in more conferences. Sometimes it's with invitation from the organizations we volunteer with, like Action Aid, Global Platform, Activista, etc. And also is the ones we scout online. So we've been to conferences like the International Conference for Family Planning. We've been to the Women's Initiative in Brazil, Denmark, Asia, Sri Lanka. We've been to a lot of conferences. I might not mention all if I want to. So these women come back together, we convene. So we have meeting days, and then we share the experiences, or if it has to do with skills training, we do. So I take care of bead making, and then we teach the girls bead making, those who want to learn bead making, and then give them maybe a small capital for them to start with, and then with time. So sometimes we actually work more with girls that, let's say, the society has stigmatized against or discriminated against. So we have some young women who are teenage pregnancy victims or school dropouts, and maybe they feel like life has ended, so we give them more hope, and we tell them that this is not the end of maybe life, and then they come back, and then maybe if you've had 1 or 2 kids, means, so if we show you, okay, this is the family planning method, if you can do this, if you can't abstain, and then we help them build on their productivity level as women so that the men won't say, come and cook for me before I give you this. So that is how we've been as a movement. And with the movement, we can't force everybody from the project to be on the movement. So we sell the forms as cheap as 1 Ghana cedi, just as a commitment level that we are not forcing you to be part of the movement. But we want you to understand what we want to do as a movement before you want to be a part of it, so that you won't be dormant when you come, so that when we call for meetings, you come. When we have activists walking, you come. When we have commemoration days out there, you come, because we all want to work for one cause. That is what we have done so far as a movement.
Interesting. Please, let's put our hands together for this movement. Wow, this is really awesome. Great. So since I've heard from this side of the table, I'll be moving over to this side of the table. Okay. So, Emma, women are moved by drive. We have things that fascinate us. Sometimes it has to do with maybe some write-up you saw somewhere or by a person. So what gives you your own drive? Does it have to do with a particular quote, or there's someone that actually drives you and makes you want to do more? If you can share some inspiration with us.
Okay, that's a lot of pressure, but anyway, I think I'm driven by the fact that I think we live in a society right now that is fighting for the rights of women. I think growing up, we're always, in Africa, for example, it's a very patriarchal society. So we've been taught that men should lead. And I wouldn't say that I'm a feminist per se, but I totally believe in gender equity. I believe that women can also lead. We're not saying that men lead, women follow, so it should be changed to women lead and men should follow. No, we're just saying that if you give us the right opportunities, we can also lead. So personally, I'm driven by women who believe in that purpose, believe in breaking the barriers, breaking the glass ceiling, and going for the top. So women, for example, like Michelle Obama, I like how she portrays herself as a woman, as a wholesome human being, as a wife, as a mother, as a career woman. So there's nothing like, I just want to be a career woman and forget about my family, or I want to be family oriented and forget about my career. It's about not even balancing. I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in being able to be present in whatever you're doing. So I'm really driven by my own passion. I wouldn't say a particular woman or quote has driven me to be where I am today or to believe in the fact that gender equity is important. I'm driven that we need to be able to make a difference every single day, and especially for the next generation of women that come after us. Yeah, I mean, in let's say Saudi Arabia, for example, just until recently, women are not allowed to drive. So maybe some of us have been lucky to be able to do some of these things. So we need to be able to create processes that will take the next generation of younger women after us to be able to do it. So it's not about what we will enjoy as women right now, but what will the younger generation enjoy. And that's why I'm really excited about what the organization is doing, how they're building capacity for the long term. Yeah, it's not about how you personally will enjoy. What about the future that comes after you? So I'm driven by that. I'm driven by the next generation of women leaders who will take us to the next level.
Awesome. Does someone have anything to add to what Emma just said?
I think I want to pick from what Emma said so eloquently about the fact that we want to see women lead. What I would like to add is that women have been leading. When you go into history, Ashanti history, you have Yaa Asantewaa who led, the Ashanti army into wars against colonial bodies and won these wars, and held the kingdom, up high. There are many women who have been leading in history. What I would like to see us do is to get to a point as even a country, or should I even say in the world, where we don't have to always make noise about the first woman this, first woman that. It should be normal, for a woman to be in a leadership position or in any position of influence or authority. We're in the 21st century. For us to still be saying, the first woman here, the first woman vice chancellor, the first president here, I really feel like we still have a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Okay, touching on what women should be doing and why we should not be saying the first woman that did this or that. It's happening, but we want to go past it, you see. And when Emma was speaking, she talked about equity. So Rebecca, what would you say you understand about equity when it comes to gender?
When it comes to gender, most of the time, people always confuse themselves with equity and equality. When we talk about equity, it's the practices or the fair way of getting to equality. So if equality is 2, the meaning equity is 1 + 1 should be 2. So if we want to see more women being in decision-making processes, then meaning anytime there is a decision-making process at the floor or in the grassroots, women should be included. So it is the process or the practices, the fair one, how we do it to get there is what I think equity is. Yes.
Okay, Beatrice, would you want to add to what she said about equity?
I would like to add
Abiba,
more
like to add
to
something
it.
as well?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to you.
So equity and equality. I would say equity, it's the practices, the things we do before getting to the equality way. So that is the little I can say about that.
About it. Okay, so Abiba? Okay, you can use mine.
Yes, so equity and equality. I understand equality as treating everybody equally or fairly, the same. We are all human, so as virtue of being human, treat us the same. Now, equity, I should use an example. Let's say we are in a play field. I'm short, there's a shorter person, and then there's this tall person. And there are these resources that we need for the short person to get there, to see the playground. Now, the tallest person also needs something to support themselves to get there. Then we see the tallest person kind of grabbing all these resources and still standing on this resource, and even surpasses the two that are there to get to see the actions. So in equity, we mean there should be equal resources for everybody to get there. So if it's an opportunity and I I need it more to get there. Maybe you are there, you have it. But yes, you need, but then I am there and I need it more. Why not support me together so we will all be on the same level? I think that is what equity is. And then if we get there, then we see that we are all equal on that level, and it will foster development.
All right, thank you very much, Abiba. So now we're going to have to understand whether equity is actually being practiced here in the country based on what is going on. But we'll find that out after this commercial break. Do stay with us. And you're welcome back. So we're going to be finding out if equity is actually being practiced in our country and the way forward. I'll start with Rebecca, who is someone who has an understanding about land ownership because she's into land herself. So Rebecca, let us know what you think around equity and land ownership in Ghana.
Okay. So as said, we are not being treated equally. So we achieve gender equality. But when you come to Ghana, some women have the means to own a land, but are being refused by the landowners. You would go and then want to purchase a land, but because you're a woman, how they'll even look at you from the head to toe is even, I don't know, even, it's even heartening. Yes. So they'll even look at you and they're like, so can you own a land? Can you pay? I have my own money, you're asking me, can I pay? Or even when you tell them, you let them know that, yes, I can pay. I am this, I am working. This is what they will still ask you to go and bring a man before they give you the land. As a land surveyor, I went to the field one day with my boss. And not knowing that land was for a woman. A woman was the one going to buy the land. But because she's a woman, they said she should go and bring a man. She being a woman, she doesn't want her husband to know that she's doing something like this. But they told her to go for the husband. So in this way, this woman said, if that is the case, then she would have to wait until she explains things with the husband and then gets the land. So I think when it comes to land ownership, we are not being treated fairly. They are not treating us fairly. Men are buying the land. Women are not even getting the chance to buy the land. So when it comes to equity,
in terms of land ownership, we are still
a long way to go. 19th century. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Patsy, you want to contribute?
It's an issue that we need to look at, even with rent. If you're going to rent a place, there are some landlords and landladies who insist that I want someone who is married. If you are a woman and you go, they want your husband. Yes, it has even happened to me personally. Really? That they want to know if you have a husband, you have to bring your husband to come and make the payment and all that, which is very disheartening. But I would say that there are other ways to achieve some of these things. You can buy a land as a woman if you have the means and you do your due diligence and your homework well. There are a lot of estate developing agencies and corporate companies that deal in these things. If you want to go the local way where you are going to look for some chief who wants to exert some form of cultural practices on you, that is when these things happen. And if you don't even take care, because it's an individual, then it becomes another issue of fighting over land with some other people who have also gone to the same person to buy. But if you go the corporate way and use a proper agency, some of these issues do not arise.
Nice. Wow, some solution coming up right here amongst us. So Martina, you want to make a contribution?
Okay, so with from my point, what we fail to sometimes acknowledge is that equity is supposed to like put both men and women like on the same level, but remembering that we are not both at the same starting position. The men maybe according to their hormones and our hormones, they already have like let's say a faster starting position, but they want to actually acknowledge that because they have a faster starting position, then they are supposed to be faster. So I have a typical personal example. When after my parents' demise, when the other family members were sharing the property between my brother and I. My brother is 2 years younger than I am, they still said he was the man. So he is supposed to take care of me. It's funny. So they were putting the building and then the indenture and everything in his name because he's the man. They actually did that because, let's say, that was like 6 years ago. I was not an activist and I was not this empowered. So as of today, fine, maybe he doesn't have the mind to say he's stronger than me but most of the property is in his name, surprisingly. So I always use this example when I go out to talk about gender equity till today.
Okay, lucky you. You have a brother who is really understanding. Because I was going to say, what happens when he gets married? Because if he gets married, the wife feels these are all ours, and we cannot allow you come close. So I think we should give your brother a thumbs up because at least he understands. Emma, you were going to make a contribution. Okay, no, say sir. Okay.
I'm actually going to say, part of culture, I think, is that belief that you will get married and lose the name and move away. So why should they give the house to the lady? Which is bad. Mm-hmm. It's something that we really need to look into. But talking about land, when she was talking, I actually, I didn't want to say I would laugh out loud because it's a bad thing. But I acquired land recently, and my husband and I. And when the papers were done, my name was not there. And all my friends I was calling to witness, they said, where's your name? Your names are not on the paper. And this is a very young man who did these papers. Very young man. Very surprising. It was Mr. and Mrs. and my name wasn't in the papers. And we had to pay an extra 3,000 cedis to get the name changed. And I said, but if he was thinking right and understood that I am a partner to this man who's buying this land, it should have been automatic that both our names should have been in the paperwork. Yes. But my name wasn't, and I had to cough out an extra 3,000 to get my names in the paper. It's ridiculous.
So what you're pointing out here right now is those of us who are purchasing land with our spouses, ensure that your name is in it. So Mr. and Mrs., your names will be there. Just in case we don't pray for divorces, maybe tomorrow there's a divorce,
yes,
and there's a new Mrs. surname, then they'll say, okay, so which one are we talking about here?
Exactly.
So if it's Nosisa, so Nosisa will be in there.
Yes.
Nice.
And in fact, some say don't even have Mr. and Mrs. in there.
Okay.
It's this man and this woman, go on, because I can go and buy land with Fatih.
Okay.
Would you say it should be Mr. and Mrs.? It should be Fatih, Shaib Ali, and Nosisa Sado have acquired this land for whatever it is we want to do with it. So I just said to myself, which means even the young guys also who are into land selling, we need to change their mentality unless it's a trick. They already know that they're going to be turned back, and then they know it's extra cash that will come.
Okay, you can add on it.
It's not just restricted to land, it's property in general, and it's not really about a divorce per se, but the society has some kind of a problem when it comes to women owning anything. So even if your spouse should pass away, for example, then you see the extended family, especially on the man's side, will come and then take away the property from the woman and all those things. So I think that in all this discussion about equity, women cannot fight it alone. We need our husbands, our brothers, our fathers, our bosses, our colleagues, our male friends to help us to fight it. You see, because if they don't join us in this fight, we can't win. Talking about the side of Fatih from you being the one going to rent, there have also been situations where women own houses and are willing to rent to tenants. But when probably the tenants come in and they are older and they see that the owner is a lady, then they don't want to rent from a woman. They're like, how can I have a female landlord? Yeah, they don't. So that's also an issue. Or even they might look at the lady, feel she's young. Why does she own so much property? I'm older, I'm a man, I don't own, I'm coming to rent from a woman. They find it a bit embarrassing as well. So it's a societal problem, but the same society we are fighting, we need to help us to win this fight.
Awesome. So
Eunice,
do
can
we
I
have
add
more
something
contributions?
about,
Okay.
what about the landlord issue? So we rented one of my mom's houses, and let me say I lost 2 tenants because of the example you just gave. They said I'm younger and I'm a woman, so I should live there with my husband when I get married. So
No, I don't get the situation. Could you
so
recount?
we advertised it on Tonaton. So when she came to look at it, and she said, "Okay, where's my mom or where's my dad?" I said, "I am the owner of the house." She said, "Okay, no, I can't rent from you. Why? You are younger and you're a woman. So
Wow.
you should
So he
keep it
felt
when you get
insecure.
married. You should live there with your husband." They were married. They were a couple actually. So it's the man that called, but it's the woman that came to see the house. So the second one, yes. So
A fellow
the
woman was saying this
yes.
to you.
Yes, the second one, I wouldn't know the reason. Oh, yeah, so sorry. So the second one, I really know the reason because they sold my brother. But so the one we have now is also, they're also a couple. And they don't pay the rent to me. I have said whatever I want to say in my life. They still pay the rent to my brother.
They choose
and
to
he
pay to
sends it
him
me.
instead.
When my name is on the paper, you sign the contract with me, they still send the money to my brother before he brings it to me. That they can't pay the rent to a woman. They are living in my house today.
Cultural barriers.
Exactly. I think we need reorientation where from the get-go, when children are born and in our households, we teach them that you are all equal. You can all own whatever it is that you can own. Because a friend of mine once told me that she gave a guy a lift, her own car that she used her own money to buy, and decided that she was giving a total stranger a lift, a guy, and the guy was sitting in front, she was driving, and he kept doing so eventually she was like, "Is there a problem? I'm not comfortable with a woman driving me, so if you don't mind, I can drive us." And she said, "Oh, no problem." So she parked. When he got down, she sped off. So there are deep sitting issues that are born out of how we are raised and our cultural practices and how we want men to feel or who we want men to think they are. You know, it is not a matter of competing or it is not a matter of wanting to be better, but it's just a matter of knowing that we are all human. It's just that our genitalias are different, but we are human. And in as much as a man is allowed to do, for the lack of a better word, whatever they want, a woman should also be able to do whatever she wants, depending on her own choices.
Wow. So Emma, you're going to contribute.
I just want to add to what Fatih said because it's something I've also experienced. And I think I like what you said, that we need to sensitize from when we are younger, like our children, even our friends. Sometimes when women speak up, we're called arrogant. We're called too known. And sometimes you feel that to speak up, you have to shout. You have to, exert your voice. Not necessarily. I think you just need to say your mind. I don't like what you're doing, and therefore stop it. This has happened to me a lot of times when I'm driving from work to the house, and the policeman at Joel Junction. Somehow, it's always the same policeman who stops me. I don't know. I think now he knows me, and he's like, "Madam, why you keep using your husband's car? What is he using?" And I was like, "No, I'm not married. What do you mean I'm using my husband's car?" He's like, "No, this car is too big for you." So I told him, I really hope that one day your daughter will be able to buy a car that is too big for her, for herself. Because if this is the way you're thinking, I'm sorry, this is not how you speak to people. So the first thing he was like, why are you speaking to me like that? Are you Ghanaian? I said, that has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with anything. Whether I'm Ghanaian, whether I'm not Ghanaian, the way you spoke to me is not right, and you should not do it. So we need to empower ourselves to be able to use our voices. When you're not wrong, you're not wrong. It doesn't mean when you say your opinion that you're arrogant or you're trying to show your privilege or something. No, we need to be able to show the people, and I'm so passionate about the people who come behind us, because at the end of the day, we need to be able to build the streams for them. Use your voice. Use your voice. It's such a powerful tool, and you're not using it to disrespect anybody. Don't disrespect anybody. Don't try to show off. Be humble, but just speak your mind and say that this is what I think. I did not like how you spoke to me, and I like what Fatih's friend did. Get out of my car. I mean, I gave you a lift. get out of my car and move. Or if somebody sits in your car and they want to change the music. No, I want to listen to the station. When you sit, it's my car. I'll decide what to do. So and if, for example, if the person was not empowered, literally somebody else would have parked, gotten out of her own car and allowed the man to drive. Allowed the man to drive. But we need to be able to, do some of this. They look like minute things, but they're so important. I remember when I was working in HR, and it's something that I experienced a lot. When ladies are coming for interviews, and you compare how men come for interviews, men come with the basis of, I'm going to get the job. They're so confident, even if they haven't prepared or anything. Women, we prepare. Like as women, I think we have the beauty of being organized. We prepare ahead. We know what we need to do, and so on and so forth. But you still come with the non-confidence of, okay, if there's a man who is an opponent, he might get the job. And even in the way we, let's say, negotiate our salaries and such things. You can have a man and a woman in two similar roles. And because of how the man negotiated his salary, he'll get paid more. Not because he's a man, but because you didn't ask. So I think as women, we need to practice how to use our voices.
May I add something?
Talking about negotiation of salary, I'll come to you, Abiba. We all know about the story on BBC about the reporter in BBC China who had to quit her job because she found out that she was being paid less than a man who was occupying equal position. And she fought her cause, and BBC had to apologize. That is power. So we're going to continue this conversation, but I would like to say we're going to go on a short commercial break, and then let's also feast on the, the fruits and relax a little bit. When we come back, we're going to have your contribution, Abiba. Thank you very much. And you are welcome back. We're all contributing what ideas we had in terms of way forward and how women can speak better and have a voice to be able to achieve their goals. So, Abiba, I think your contribution will be heard now.
Yes. So discussing land issues and addressing the issues we have around land ownership and property ownership. We talked about empowerment, women speaking up, being feminist and talking about what's bothering us. Yes, but then we also have the legal aspect of it, where there are a lot of gaps in our land bills that is lying down in Parliament till now that needs to be updated to give women the opportunity to own land, or even, especially with women who farm. When you go to the northern part of Ghana, I happen to be a rapporteur for one project called Power, promoting opportunities for women empowerment and rights. And every time we meet, till date, women are always complaining of acquiring land, And what they share mostly is the men are given the lands that are closer to the communities, and the women are given the ones that are farthest. And they're even given the lands that are not fertile. Wow. So you can imagine.
Less viable soil.
The less viable soil. And you can imagine women are in percentage-wise, women produce more than, yes, but look at the
disparity.
Situation, yes, that is in there. So our bills, I think we have to do a serious advocacy around the land bill so that it is updated and women get the opportunity.
Okay, so your take is that we need policies in place to be able to push this agenda.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Louisa. You were going to contribute?
Yes, so my contribution stems out of the fact that advocating for women's rights didn't start today. It started way before some of us were even born. The affirmative action bill, the land bill, as she mentioned, it's delaying. We all attest to that fact. But what I asked myself is, if we are talking about equality, the only thing that differentiates us is the fact that probably I have certain changes in me during the month and another doesn't have. But we are all human beings first. So if they don't need any form of bill to empower them to be humans, then I feel that we should stop putting ourselves in that corner where we feel we are in the minority. We have come a long way to feel we are in the minority. If you look at the educational system now, the books they are teaching the younger generation with has some rules spelled out for boys and girls. And if you go deep into that, girls are supposed to sweep in the morning, take care of their younger siblings, cook when their mother is not around. And then roles for mothers: mother cooks for the family, she does the laundry, daddy goes to work, and daddy pays school fees. So right from the scratch where kids are being educated, they are being taught that this is the society and you are supposed to live like this when you grow up. So I feel as women who nurture the younger generation, it's about time we start teaching them that you are a female, you are a male, you are my daughter, you are my son, but whatever you are supposed to do, he can equally do. You can do the laundry, she can do the laundry. You can cook, she can equally cook. So as we are growing up, we don't always, it's not every time that we can shout, we lose the energy. We have to take action now. Take charge of our lives. We are all humans, and that should start from the way we are nurturing our kids and educational reforms.
Awesome. Fatty?
And I would like to add that sometimes we would say that we don't need some of these laws, affirmative action, quotas, and all that. But you and I sitting on this table, we are empowered. Some might be well read. We have gone to places, so we see how things are done. We see that it is possible, so we can. But somebody farming in the north doesn't have this opportunity, doesn't have this education or experience or mind. So those are the people that these laws and affirmative actions could go to help. So we need them. It's hand in hand. But I would like to say that the time is now. If you are a woman, the onus lies on you as an individual to wake up and do what is needed of you as a woman. If it is that position you want, if you qualify, go and apply. The name calling will come. If you don't take care, you'll be called arrogant. You'll be called a witch. You could even be called a loose woman because they feel that you do not have the
Slept your
brain
way to the top.
exactly. All these things will come. It's about a tough skin. If you call a man a womanizer, I don't think he feels offended. So why should I be offended if you say
He
I am
actually takes
sleeping
pride
around?
in it.
Exactly. So it's about time that women, an insult that will not go to disturb a man's cause shouldn't disturb yours. That is all that I will say.
Great. All right, so you are going to contribute
Yeah,
to
I want
Beatrice?
to add up to Fatih's. Yeah, that was about positions.
Mm-hmm.
I remember way back in college, I opposed Apostolic Students Association, and they've been saying it's time to vie for positions, so we should go for the position. But I remember the president and the vice president is for the males, and I was like, 5 years in existence, opposer in the college, and still no women. Where are the women going? They said the treasurer and the secretary is for them. I said, no, I want to do something. I went there as an apostolic student and likely went for the vetting, and I was given the vice president. So the history was like, hey, Beatrice has made it. So
Wow.
I just want to add up to that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. And when it comes to my family, we are all girls.
Tell
my
us.
daddy gave birth to 5 girls, and I'm the third born, so I have 2 sisters and the 2 senior ones. So when it comes to family issues, they say, hey, Mr. Vonyo is having 5, so you dear, you not even call your children when there's anything like meeting, come and write something for us, land issue in the family. My daddy said, no, I have girls. Let them also go. So when my daddy is going, he said, hey, Beatrice, come, let's go. You're the one going with me. So now, when we go for meetings and I'm not there or my sister is not there, they say, hey, where are your daughters? Mr. Vonyo, where are your daughters? So let's fight. Let's fight that patriarchy system.
So you want to say now they recognize you and your sisters to contribute to the family?
Now we are being recognized. They want you to come and write the minutes for them. They want you to come and... Thank you.
So there's an aspect of this conversation that we have not touched. And that's because Vivian, we were actually saving her for this time. Vivian finds herself in a space that is dominated by men. So I'm going to allow her talk about it to us. Vivian, you've got the floor now.
Thank you. Actually, concerning women working with, doing men's job, I want to make my mom proud because she was alone. They gave birth to her alone. And concerning her properties, the whole family says she's a woman. So they can't give her the land and everything. So, and she also gave birth to 6 girls. I'm the
Okay.
last one.
Oh.
So I told her, they said, you cannot do anything as a woman. I want to make them know that I can do it, and I'll
Yes.
make your name proud.
So you found out that you knew how to fix things. That's why you are now in the space where you are. Let us
Yeah.
know about the space you find yourself now.
Now, I'm a ref engineer. I fix air condition. I do the servicing. And when your phone gets spoiled, I can
You
fix
can also
it.
fix it. Wow. Please, let's put our hands together for her. But how did you find out that you had the skill? Did you acquire it or were you born with it?
I have the zeal I said I want to make my mom proud in a male-dominated field. So whatever concerns men, I want to do it.
Wow.
I can lay bricks.
You can lay bricks.
Yes.
Which means that you can even go to war.
Yes.
If the situation comes up that we really need to go and fight, in the interest of our country, you are ready to do that.
I'm ever ready because I've once fought an epi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you had to, speak your mind, or
For my community, because we need something
something was not being done.
being done.
So were you able to achieve it?
Yes. Now
So-
we have a public toilet.
Now you have
in
a
our-
public toilet. Wow. Thanks to Vivian. Thank you so much, ladies. Okay, you want to contribute?
With the fighting of the MP. So if you go to the Ganwest Municipal Assembly and you mention the Young Urban Women's Movement, they will not allow you to talk. Because we fought them on several occasions for amenities like the public toilets, borehole, etc. Because if we realize that you are responsible for this, we will start our lobbying skills till we get it done.
And you always get it done.
We always get it done.
In
Sometimes
fact,
it
we
takes
really
longer.
need to advocate, using our platform to
Yeah.
ask for people to come to your help and to your aid. You said before now, Action Aid has been doing it for you. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Action Aid.
Yay.
But we are asking for more partnerships from other people to come and join and
Yes.
see to it that all the causes you're trying to champion,
Yeah.
come into, existence and they are
And
made
any
possible.
young woman out there between 18 and 35 who wants to join, forms are still available.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
I wanted to share a sexual harassment story, if that's okay. I don't know if it falls between equality or equity, because our HR head was a woman,
Okay.
and she was even not concerned. Okay, so I was working with a banking firm some time back, and I had a sexual harassment situation with my branch manager. So how it started, if we are all workers, but sometimes you are late, sometimes you are early. If I am late, because I said no to him or because I was not giving in to his demands, if I am late, I get a query. But if my colleagues are late, they don't get a query. And it was, so I reported to my, I don't know, OTL at that time. And I was not hearing anything from her, and I have to come to work early. And sometimes I get there early, and this man is the only one there, and I have to get harassed. So I have to wait outside the door till somebody else comes before I can enter my own workplace. So I reported to Na Yale, wherever she is. I still thank her. Then our project manager from Action Aid, and she started let's say the report processes, and then we got to our HR head. It's a very renowned firm, actually, our HR head, and then it was a woman. And then I wouldn't really know what ensued between Na and her because I was not at all those meetings. But later on, I quit the job because I found out that they didn't sack the man. I thought they had sacked him because he was no more at my branch. But they had not sacked him, but they moved him from my branch to another branch, and they brought the other head to my branch. So I was asking myself that, which other lady is at the branch he has gone to?
He's
that
been a
will
victim.
he will start or be a victim. So I quit the job from that firm because of that. The sense that the woman was not even ready to stand or to fight for another woman who was being sexually harassed. Yes.
So that brings us to that conversation you were talking about, Fafa. Do women actually pull other women down, or do they help to elevate women?
Yes, well, it was a question that I raised. What I said was that there are some men who have also helped to put women in positions by guiding them, mentoring them. I guess they believe in them. But then for those women who are in positions of authority or power, influence, how are they helping other women to, grow professionally or even grow in whatever chosen career that they have? So that was the question. I think that women, we need to question ourselves really deeply and reflect on that. For all of us, wherever we find ourselves, in our own small way, what are we doing to help other women to be better? That was the question, because there are some women who are really helping. There are a few women who have organized some mentorship groups. I remember there was one organized by, I think, Bridget Jogbenuku, Mawena Dumo, and the Allure lady. I've forgotten her name. Jibodi, thank you. So they had that kind of arrangement, and they were trying to mentor some young women. I was in one also organized by Irina Sari for HR. And I think we need to have more of those things. But there are also women who are terrible bosses. They have been very inconsiderate and almost wicked to other women who work with them, in their various companies. So fine, they may have sexual harassment. Sometimes it's just work. Your male colleague brings something, it's fine. But then when you, the female, bring it, there are problems with it every single time. And then yet you're not given feedback about what exactly you did wrong and what you should then correct. So I think that we must also reflect on this. We can't always say it is the men who are preventing us from doing things. They are also part of it, but there are some who help. But then how are we helping ourselves? But then let me just chip this in. There's this thing about women are our own enemies. And I really dislike it when people say that. I'm very interested in politics, political discussions, current affairs. When you hear, let's say, 2 politicians on air or 2 men on the road fighting, nobody says that men are their own enemies. But as soon as you have 2 women in a studio going at each other about a topic, or you hear that some woman has gone to have a child with another man, some other woman's husband, then we say women are our own enemies. I would like us to get to a point where, just like how the men may decide to insult each other, or they have a nice, very friendly conversation, no tag, should be put on any conversation or interaction that any woman has with another woman. We just, like Fatih said, we've been saying this around the table, we are human beings, whether men or women. So we should just treat each other like human beings. And then I think we'll do a lot of great things together.
Thank you very much. So we have our host here, who is our programs manager here at ETV. She's going to be giving us the final words.
I just wanted to say, in addition to what Fafa is saying, that I feel that in as much as you find yourself in that position where you have a female boss and you think that you're not getting the support that you need, I always tell people who choose to listen to me when they get the opportunity, is be clear in your mind about what you want. If I know what I want, that's me, no Sisa. I will play dumb if it gets me to where I want. You will not push me out of anything that I want. So in as much as I can see your scheming and all that, but if I'm clear that I'm supposed to be here for a season, and in this season I must get this, I will stay there and get what I want. So we also need to know that it's not a bed of roses out there. You're not going to see a woman and she's going to automatically like you. So you need to develop a very, very thick skin. I had a female boss from the pits of hell, if I have to say. And where I was, getting a dismissal is not just a dismissal, it's a possible cancellation of your visa. And you've got debts, you've got checks, you've got credit cards that need to be cleared. And she actually put me in a situation where I could have been fired on the spot on one of the channels I was managing there. So, but at the end of the day, I said, look, when it's time for me to leave, I will leave, irregardless of what she tries to do. So you need to really develop a very, very, very thick skin. And on addition to what she was saying about the education, I've been on having Twitter rants. Maybe Emma would know because she follows me on Twitter. I've been having Twitter rants about this education issue and how men and women are portrayed in our children's school books, where my daughter's book had her as a nurse and then the guy is a doctor and the girl is short and fat and the guy is tall and strong. And I got so upset and I said, but the person who wrote the book, you know, the sketches and whatever, it's a girl. So I know they sketch and then they present for approval. So as young ladies, this is generation equality. I think it starts with us. We need to get to a point where we're no longer going to be blaming past generations and blaming men. I think it starts with us, that even as she's writing those school books, she needs to say human first. You know, it keeps being said here, and I like the sound of it. We are humans first, and it needs to come through in our education so that when our children are growing up, they know exactly what's up for grabs for them in this world. But as ETV, we have really said to ourselves, part of our strategy is to make sure that women are highlighted. I've been with the brand for nearly 8 years, but it is in this year that suddenly I woke up and said, we need to increase the programs for women. So you have African Women's Voices, which she hosts. There's Girl Vibes, where girls can discuss their girly issues and the issues they're having with their boyfriends and their shopping and their clothes. And feel free to talk about it and not be shy about talking about what's nice to them in that age group, you know, but still have the serious issues of date rape, or sexual harassment in the office. And then we partnered Voice of America for Our Voices, which is also about African women as a whole. And it's our time. I spoke to Sally Kemp, she's at GTV. She hosts a show called Women's Voice. And I said to her, listen to this, you are Women's Voice. ETV is African Women's Voices. Voice of America is Our Voices. So why is it that all of us keep mentioning this voice issue? It means we feel we need to be heard and we need to speak up, irregardless of what, like Fatih said, you know, she's a witch, you know, she's nasty, she's mean. A lot of name calling comes. They say stones are not thrown at a tree that doesn't bear fruit. When the stones keep coming, it means that you are bearing fruit. So to all women who are going to be watching this show, and you've heard all that's been said here. I mean, this is our time. Bottom line.
Thank you very much, ladies. I'd like to say we had a wonderful time and would like to do this again. It's been me, Eunice Tony, and I'd like to say, do stay with us because ETV will continue to give you the very best in entertainment. Bye-bye.